Hey y'all, it's Kathleen the Singing Cat. Thank you again for coming back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And today I'm gonna do a day 4 of my trip report. So with day 4, we went to Animal Kingdom. At that point, Pandora had been open for about 5 months, so it was still pretty new. Our deal was to get there as early as possible, and we did. We got there about 75 minutes before the park was supposed to open, and it was already crowded. They let us into the park, and it was just like this mass exodus to Pandora to get into Flights of Passage. I couldn't get a fast pass. Even at the 60-day window, they were already gone. I did get a fast pass for Navi River Journey, but that wasn't until about like 10 or 11. But I knew Flights of Passage just by all the videos and all the blogs that you had to get there way before the park opened just to get in line so that you could get on pretty quickly once they started letting people on. And that's what happened. I went on the ride and oh my gosh, it was amazing. Like super fantastic, amazing. Like I can't really even describe it because like you're on like this bike, I guess, and you're kind of like really strapped in and just like like this, but it's like you don't care. It's super uncomfortable, but you don't care because it like takes you throughout. It's kind of like Soarin', but way more interactive for each individual. There's like no right seat, whereas Soarin's like if you don't have a good seat, you're gonna notice a lot of imperfections. But this one, it was just like, it's the best ride on property. All over Disney World, that is the best ride. It's not my favorite ride because that's more nostalgia, but I know just based on like the quality and guest experience, Flights of Passage is the best ride possible. So that is my pro tip for this part, is to make sure if you want to go on Flights of Passage and you can't get a fast pass, or you want to make sure you go more than once, make sure you get to the park way before it opens. And that's really with any park. I always suggest what we call rope dropping. For those of you who don't know, rope drop means getting to a Disney park before it opens so that you can get to a certain line for a certain ride right when they allow people to get on the rides. There's just so much to see. You don't even mind the wait, to be honest, because it's a whole new land. There's vegetation everywhere that's new and sounds, and people are just like, I don't know where to look first, and like people are taking pictures. So really the wait is not that bad. Like, and then when you finally actually get into the building, there's even more to see, like tons to see, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, I was just like, oh wow. And yeah, it was just freaking amazing. So we got done with Flights of Passage probably like 15 minutes after it officially opened. By the time it was 8:15, we didn't have to be at the Navi River Journey for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we were not getting in that line because that line was like 2 hours. We're like, no, we're not going to get in line for 2 hours to then have a fast pass that starts in 2 hours. We're not going to do that. We had fast passes for Everest and for Kilimanjaro Safari. We just canceled them because we went straight to the safari ride. There was no one there. I love this safari. It's so cool because it's different like than going to a zoo, because you feel like you're actually in Africa on a safari and getting up and close and personal. And the safari guides are really knowledgeable in what they're talking about. I love learning more about the different animals, and you don't always see the same animals because it all just depends on who's there. We went to a character meet and greet, ate some breakfast, we got some coffee at Starbucks. We kind of just walked around, and we went back to Navi Journey. I'm really glad we got a fast pass for the Navi River Journey because, to be honest, I would not have waited in line for that. I mean, it's interesting, but nothing really happens. I think because of the way Flights of Passage happens, you almost feel like the Navi River Journey should be the same. The way it's almost set up in the Navi River Journey ride is that like you're waiting for something. I don't know. but nothing really ever happens. The only really cool part is the animatronic at the end, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful and like amazing animatronic. Then it's over. She just, you know, talks about the plants and spiritual life, and which is great, but I felt like I was missing something. Like technically, as far as like what they use to create it is beautiful and great. It would not have been worth the 2-hour wait. And I'm glad I didn't have to choose between Flights of Passage and Navi River Journey, because if I had chosen Navi River Journey over Flights of Passage for a Fast Pass, I would have been mad. Which I don't think I would have anyway, because you can only choose one of the two for Fast Passes. You can't have both, which I get. I understand. We want to give people a fair chance. So I don't think I'll be doing the Navi River Journey again. It's not very interesting. I mean, the plants maybe are real, but the animals aren't real. There's a lot to look at, but not a lot to look at. I don't know what I'm looking at. It'd be one thing if there was like a tour, people telling me what's going on. Maybe even like the Jungle River cruise at Magic Kingdom, like people like discussing like what's going on, but maybe a little bit more serious and not funny. But people are like telling me, you know, about the plant life and all that. That would have been interesting, you know, because I just didn't know what I was looking at. And I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be another planet. Don't know what I'm looking at. But then again, it wasn't like a ride. There was no like dips or anything. So I was just sitting in a boat looking at shiny things. But some people like it. After that, we went to Santulli Canteen, which is the quick service that's in Pandora's Land. And oh my gosh, it was so good. It's much healthier than a lot of quick service, which was a concern for me as I'm trying to eat healthier. And my mom is gluten-free and she's trying to eat healthier, and now my sister is also trying to eat healthier, so we're all trying to find things a little bit better, although at Disney calories don't count. But it was nice to have a really good meal that I didn't need to feel guilty about. You can make your own bowl, which is what I did. It was kind of like teriyaki, kind of very similar ingredients. I put chicken and like rice in the bowl with vegetables, and really it was very well seasoned. And I tried one of their desserts. My sister got the cheeseburger buns and she let me try it, and it was delicious. But we kind of shared, like I had some of her buns, she had some of my good stuff, and my mom found her stuff really easily. We couldn't use the mobile ordering app, which had just started, because if you have an allergy, you can't use mobile ordering because you have to have a conversation. My mom's allergy to gluten isn't like a peanut allergy or anything where she can't go near it. So she could have probably like figured out, okay, can I have this and can have that, but still we want to make sure that she could get what she wanted. But we got there right when it opened, which was about 11 o'clock. We actually kind of waited around Pandora for it to open because we were done with Navi River Journey like at 10:30, and it wasn't going to be open for another half an hour. So we kind of just waited around, and we were hungry. We were starving. When it finally opened, we were one of the first people in, so we got food pretty quickly, which was really nice. But I know that for mobile ordering is something I want to try, and something I want to really take advantage of. Also, at the time, I couldn't use mobile ordering because we were on the dining plan, and they didn't have it at that point, but now they do, so I'm gonna try it. Once we were done with our lunch, we were full, but not like uber stuffed. So we kind of walked around. We went over to Flights of Wonder, which is kind of their bird show. It was so cute and so much fun, and I loved seeing all the birds and like all of the tricks like they can do. They've technically replaced the show with an up version, so with the up characters. I haven't seen that yet, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same show. It's just now with up characters instead of the adventure guides that they had that you had no connection with. So I'm not upset that up took over, whatever. Of course, we took tons and tons of pictures because there's a lot of great spots because you go to different parts of Africa and Asia, India, and all these places. And so a lot of really great picture shots. Again, we had the photo pass, so we really wanted to take advantage of it. And then finally we went over to Expedition Everest. Now the great thing about Expedition Everest is that it has a single rider line. And we at first, of course, used our final fast pass and went on that. But my sister is like, I want to go on it again. And we went to the single rider line. There was no one in the single rider line. I went on it a second time. My mom, she's like, I enjoyed it, but I don't need to go on it again. So she waited in the gift shop. We went on the single rider line. I loved it. My sister's like, I want to go on it again. So she went on the single rider line, went right back. Pro tip, if you don't care that you need to be on the sitting next to you on the ride with someone, go on the single rider line. The only one I hear that it doesn't really work that well is in Hollywood Studios, the Rock and Roller Coaster. It doesn't work as well, but Test Track and Expedition Everest do the single rider line. And sometimes you will actually get seated with the person, or sometimes you will at least be in the same car, maybe not sitting next to them. The single rider line really saves so much time, and especially if you can't get a fast pass, it's so great. And then of course we went over to the Dinosaur Land. We went on Dinosaur and the Whirly Ride. I can never remember. The Whirly Ride's very, very jerky. It's a lot of fun. I love those types of rides, but this one like hurts. It jerks you, and the seating is not very comfortable, and there's so much space that you just keep sliding through and you keep jerking. But I go on it every time because I love those rides. And of course the dinosaur ride, I loved that movie growing up, so I love that ride. That's very nostalgic. It's just a fun ride. It's kind of scary, but not too scary. So once we were done, it was like 2 o'clock at that point. We'd done several meet and greets. We had done all these things. We decided, wow, we pretty much have a whole other half day. My mom and my sister went back to the hotel to get some stuff, whereas I went directly to Epcot because I really wanted a picture with Belle in her blue and white costume. And then we also got a photo with Aurora, which was great. And while we were waiting for Aurora, there was a long line. We were in France, so I went into the France pavilion and had a delicious creme brulee. So some of the stuff is on the dining plan that you can get for snack credits, not everything. Just ask them and they'll tell you which one's on the dining plan. So creme brulee is definitely delicious. And of course, an eclair, so my chocolate and my non-chocolate sweets, delicious. And then because I hadn't gone to Soarin', we went on Soarin' again. And we also went on Living with the Land, which is a great, ride when you just get to learn. It's like what the Navi River Journey ride should be, where they actually explain what you're seeing and why they have all these wonderful vegetables that are feeding all of Disney World, and the new innovations that they're trying to do, like actual things that they're trying to discover with all of these plants. That was interesting to me. And then we, of course, got to meet some great characters in the character meetup area. But we had to get going because we had our dinner at Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge in Kandani Village. Oh my gosh, so delicious. It is a buffet style. It has some adventurous food, some African inspired flavors, but there is normal stuff there too, and it was all delicious. We were stuffed by the end, and the only problem is that I wanted to go there because I wanted to see like the village, but I forgot it's November and it gets dark real quick. So what we should have done instead of go to Epcot maybe is just to go to the Animal Kingdom Lodge and just walk all around. The meal was delicious. The bigger problem though that we had that night is that it was really hard to get a Uber or any transportation back to our hotel. We had to wait a while. And finally, we had to order an actual taxi in order to get it because Uber just wouldn't come, and the minivan service was weird. They just wouldn't come to us. Now they'll come to anyone. They don't care. They want money. They don't care. It was just awkward. And I think next time people know what's going on, and Uber is much more willing to go that far out. But at that point, it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. The good and the bad. The good things is getting there super early at Animal Kingdom was amazing, and I'm so glad I did it, and I will do that again every time. And it really just stressed that rope dropping is a good thing. Some people don't rope drop because they don't like getting up early. I getcha, but I don't like standing in lines. I really don't. I really, really don't. We did so many great photos that I love, that I keep and use. That such a good day for photos. The food was on point. I just had some of my favorite foods that day. At Santulli Canteen, my favorite quick service. Boma, so far my favorite buffet, just because it was so good and such an interesting experience, great service. And of course the French pastries, delicious. Things I didn't really like. I want to try more food though. That's one thing I want to do. I felt like even though I loved all the food I had, I feel like there was more food I want to try. So it's not a bad thing necessarily. I just want to try more food. Getting home from Boma was really annoying, and you know, I wanted to get to bed. I was tired. We were exhausted. We didn't really take a break like we did the day before, the last 2 days, so I was really hungry. One thing also is that people are telling me that you should search for fast passes in the app and constantly do that while you're in the park, and you might get. I don't think it would have worked with Flight of Passage when I went because it was still really, really new, but definitely now I think I'm gonna really start modifying my search. The WDW couple, they're really, at least one of them, is very good about, you know, constantly refreshing her app and for refreshing to look for new fast passes because she finds them all the time. It also helps that there are only 2 of us. When you have a family of 5, it can be like a little harder. My family is a family of 5. That's all I have for today. If you want to see more of my trips or any other tips and tricks about Disney World, please subscribe below. And if you like this video, please comment if you have any questions, or tell me what your favorite parts about Animal Kingdom are. I want to know, you know, I'm always willing to learn myself. And please give us a like. Of course, again, subscribe. I hope you all have a great and fantastic day, and we'll see y'all real soon. Bye-bye.